Hey, we're live again. Welcome to Aaron Live. I guess that's what I'm calling it now, unless it's an Aaron Con, which this isn't. This is just Aaron Live. Is there a difference? You'll have to be the judge of that. Today, this may come as a shock to you, but got a few more orders on these babies. It's my raw imagination. 20 years of sketches by, that's by me. And I've had people get in touch with me. They want some sketches inside, and that's what we're going to be doing today. I want to show you one other thing I did this past week. I hate doing sketch covers, I have to admit. I do, because they're just so small. And anyway, and sometimes the paper on them isn't good, although in recent years they've been better. This was for a friend of mine in Chicago. I finally got around to doing that for him. I ship that off tomorrow. I actually have another sketch cover I'm supposed to do for a guy, but I'm not doing it on camera because, like I said, they're just they're too hard to work on. I thought my sketchbooks were hard. Sketch covers are the worst. So, I hope everybody's well in the literal sense, and we are here at the household. Haven't gone stir crazy yet. Of course, being locked in my studio and only leaving to get groceries and go to the pharmacy, that's pretty much my daily life anyway. So not a whole lot has changed for me. But like I said, we've got 3 sketchbooks to do before dinner, so we better get cracking. So I'm going to do what I always do, and that's control the camera by my left hand. I'm going to go way down here. You probably recognize this. Same old junk. I've got my Intuit pad out here because I'm actually working on coloring a superhero beer label that I'm working on for actually Bedrock City Comics. I'm almost done with, and hopefully we'll get done with that tonight, but it's coloring in Photoshop is probably not the most entertaining thing you can watch, although I don't know if it's any less entertaining than this. But we'll give it a shot here. Okay. Yeah, let me zoom in so you can see. That's kind of the whole point. Okay. All right. So what do we got? We've got, I'm going to move this camera a little bit this way. I'm going to drop that and make loud crashing noises on camera. And no, I'm not going to do that. I hope I'm not going to do that. Okay. Ooh, look at that crackling sound of a brand new book being opened up. All right. John Smith recommends other live Lopresti. Well, I guess it's not the same as the first live Lopresti, so it'd be the other one. But then what do you call the third one? Another other live Lopresti? I don't know. Okay. Kristen Grant, beer label, nice, yes. I'm doing it in trade. I'm doing it for like old comics. So I don't know if it's the smartest thing I've ever done, but it's different. So although it's superhero themed, so it's not really all that different than what I normally do. Okay. Hey, Mark Chiarello joined. Hey, Mark, how's it going? I hope all is well with you in Southern California. I haven't talked to you in a while. All right, we're going, this gentleman that requested this book requested a Wolfman, the Benicio del Toro version, which ain't the greatest movie in the world, but wow, what great makeup by Rick Baker. So if you're just kind of into, special effects and makeup and stuff like that, and don't care if the movie's all that great, I highly recommend checking it out because the makeup is really cool. It's very reminiscent of what Jack Pierce did in the original Wolfman back in 1940 or 41? I want to say 1940. And but I actually think this is much better. I just think Rick Baker is, him and Dick Smith are just like next level. This is kind of challenging in a way because it's kind of like a likeness, but I mean, it's still the Wolfman, so I've got some leeway, but still it's a Wolfman that's supposed to look a certain way. So I'm actually got another screen up right now, so I can take a look at the Benicio del Toro version of this. So if I don't respond to your comment right away, it's because I'm not looking at it. I actually had to do I got someone requested a Indiana Jones. Well, actually, they said they wanted, like, something from a film star or something like that. So I had to do a likeness in a book, and I did a Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford, and actually inside one of these, and it actually turned out pretty well. But man, it presents some challenges, I can tell you that. This nose makes him look like a cute little Wolfman dude or something. I don't know. I gotta work on that. I will say 90% of the sketch requests I get for these books are, in fact, superheroes, but not always. I'm just thankful that everybody that asked for one of these doesn't give me something super challenging. I'd have to raise my prices. We don't want to do that, right? I'm going to be friendly to my patrons. So anyway, we'll give this the old college werewolf try. All right. Well, I think that kind of gives me enough of a basis to go on. Before I get out my ink pen, can you see that? Kind of still looks a little friendly, but we'll fix that as we move along. Charlie Ramirez says, hi, Aaron. Hey, Charlie. Thanks for joining us. Mark, everything is well over here. I hope the same again for you. I'll tell you, I'll tell you a Mark Chiarello story. I took my family, we went down to go to Warner Brothers Studios and Universal. And so DC's down there in Burbank. And so we were down there, and I was like, well, I'm going to, take my family in to kind of get a tour of the DC offices. And so, again, I'm using a 0.8 here, a Le Pen drawing pen. So we're going through the tour, I mean, not really a tour, but, going around and seeing people. And we're walking around the offices, and Mark's in his office, and he walked, I don't know if he walked by me or called me in or whatever. And so, I put my family on hold for a minute and walked over there to talk to him. And turns out they were doing all those coloring book covers that DC was doing. So he's like, hey, Aaron, you want to do some of these? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And he just ended up giving me 5 or something. So it was actually, I was there on vacation, but ended up picking up some unexpected work, which ended up being really cool. And I always appreciate Mark, always kept me busy, and always had and still does, has a great eye for covers, and a great guy to work for. So that's my pleasant Mark Chiarello story. But in this business, even today, there's something to be said for being in the right place at the right time. And that was one of those days where I just happened to be in the office, and he was like, "Get over here, I need your help." So that worked out well. Okay, I'm gonna, oops, sorry, we're sliding down there. I'm gonna go back and take another look at Benicio for a minute here while I get this nose right. God, can you imagine having to wear all this makeup in a movie? Now these books, I'm sorry, I gotta keep slide down. These books are still available. They are briskly selling, which I'm quite happy about since I have an enormous printer's bill, but to take care of. But if you want to get one of these with a sketch in it, you can contact me at any time. I got another big shipment going out tomorrow. Obviously, with the quarantine and everything that's going on, I'm not getting to the post office quite as much as I normally would. But I still get down there once a week, so you won't be waiting too long for it. It's a fresh pen, man. I'm getting some nice line work on this without having to work too hard. And I gotta get this other eye right too. Oh man, I had an adventure getting toilet paper the other day, I gotta tell you. It's funny when you actually have to have connections to get toilet paper. I mean, it's almost like a drug deal or something. It was really bizarre, but did manage to get a package. So we're good for another week, I guess. Oy vey. All right, I think I got this. I can come back here and see what everybody else is. I got to catch up with my Paul. That may explain all the extra forearm hair I've accumulated over the decades. Yeah, mine too. I'm like constantly a wolf man. Dude, Aaron, I'm still amazed by the Wonder Woman print from your Twitter. Glad to be able to watch this live. Thanks, Josh. Thanks for joining us. Okay. All right. I still think I can probably get this camera around a little bit more to get a better shot of this. Yeah, there we go. Been watching a lot of, well, not watching, but listening to while I'm working. Showing a bunch of old March Madness college basketball tournament games. To make up for the ones they're not actually doing this year, but fairly entertaining stuff. I mean, if you're into that, which I am, you should be able to tell by my Nebraska hat, which you can't see right now, but if you could see I was wearing it at the beginning. That's the thing. Requests like this, they take like 10 times longer than normal ones do. But I guess, you take the easy ones with the difficult ones, and it's just how it goes. I think this is Con Alive. Okay. He's got a lot of angry wrinkles in his brow. I think I told you guys last time that my favorite movie werewolf was Werewolf of London with Henry Hole from 1931, maybe. But there's actually a scene where he turns into the werewolf and he puts on his hat and his coat before he goes out. I thought, now that, that's style right there, man. When you're going to go out and eat somebody, but you know what? I'm going to put my hat and my coat on first. But it actually kind of gave him this cool look. He had this kind of werewolf in this hat and an overcoat. Well, it's kind of cool. And it makes for a good toy because then you got accessories to go with your werewolf. Look at that. Wow. It's turned out pretty well. It really ticks me off when they do remakes like this and the movies don't turn out good. It's like such a wasted opportunity. You've got something like this with all this really, you can't get into the club without your hat and coat, and that's for sure. No shirt, no shoes, no service. Mary Cusack says, thank you for the sketch of Hippolyta in my book. You're very welcome. Thank you for getting a book. Hi, Master. Thanks for your artwork and your passion in your job. Well, thank you for joining us. Hey, Bubby, I've got Charmin in its original packaging. Is it mint? Yeah, it's mint in the package, right? So you don't want to open it. I went to so much trouble to get this package of toilet paper. It was like I didn't even want to break it open. Let's see. John DeVera, I'll trade you some toilet paper for a sketch. You know what? That may become a reality sooner than later. Don Ho joined. No, I don't think that's the singer, because I don't think Don Ho's still alive, is he? But thank you, Don. I appreciate you stopping in. But anyway, as I was complaining about, monster remakes, like I didn't even go see The Mummy. I heard that really sucked, the Tom Cruise one. But I tend to watch or read reviews and let those help me decide if I want to go see a movie. With the only exception being, of course, John Carter, which got bad reviews, and I was going to go see no matter what. And, quite frankly, I loved it. So critics don't always know everything, but anyway, everybody, this is Mary Cusack. Anything with Tom Cruise sucks. Oh, that's funny. Aaron, MDA YouTube channel is uploading full games. Watched a couple. Oh, okay. Shaq 61 points against the Clippers. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna make a plea for those of you that don't have one of these sketchbooks to get one, because I am only about 30 copies away from actually paying my printing bill on these. So I'm still in the hole. Help me out. Get a sketchbook with a sketch in it. I think they're well worth it. I've actually had 2 people say is the best sketchbook they've ever seen. And I've sold about, a little more than 100. So that's like 2% of the people that get these think it's the greatest thing they've ever seen. So I think that in and of itself is enough that you should get one. And for some weird reason, my sketches in these books always turn out really well. And I can't say that about anything else I do, but for these, for some reason, maybe it's because I get focused in, because I know that if I screw up the sketch, someone's going to have a book with a crappy sketch in it, or I'm going to have to like dump the book and start over, and I don't want to do that. So I guess, and they're a lot looser too, you know, so it's kind of hard to be judge how good of a piece of art it really is when you're, you know, scribbling. So, you know, that helps too, I think, but still. Had some guy from France order one today, and that's 25 bucks for shipping, okay, just to France, and he still did it. So if you live in the United States, all you have to do is pay $5 shipping. There is just really no excuse for not getting one of these. And it sounds to me like I'm begging, so maybe I'll stop. Look at that. That is coming along, baby. I'm digging that. Okay. Almost done with this. I know this isn't everybody's cup of tea, having a, you know, a terrifyingly gross monster in your book, but this is probably something I would have someone do if it were me. If I was getting a sketchbook, just have them do a monster in it. It's a lot more fun. There was a time in my life I never would have taken a pen and just did that like I just did it. And I would have been too scared to do it. Like, oh my gosh, that looks terrible. But you start to kind of get an idea of what you're trying to do and what you want it to look like. And you can do this kind of loose sort of scribbly line. It actually turns out pretty well. I think that's pretty groovy, man. I'm going to click back to my Benicio del Toro screen really quick and see if I've screwed anything up. I don't think I have. Keep it loose, brothers and sisters. Keep it loose. Also, if I haven't mentioned it, which I'm sure I have a million times, but I'm going to be doing a WonderCon version of AaronCon, whatever weekend WonderCon is. I'd have to check, but is it like the 8th or the 12th or something? John Smith would know. Although I'm not going to be taking as many sketch requests because I think I'm going to only take about 6 or 7, and I've got 3 on the list right now. So if that's something you want to get in on, contact me now. Don't wait until I do the con because it'll already be full up. But yeah, I did like 10 or 12 last time, and it was like, oh, it took me forever. So and Justice League is just not allowing me extra time like some other projects because they're too labor intensive, the pages are. All right, let's take a look at this. I think that's pretty good. Should we go in a little bit closer? Let's go in a little bit closer. I also think the next time I do one of these, I'm going to try and do it on YouTube so we can get more people in. And it also, the Facebook, for whatever reason, has a very low definition. So it's, you know, the picture isn't as great. Whereas on YouTube, I can go high def. Okay, I think we're done here. Make sure. Yep. I think we're done. So we'll sign this baby. 2020. And I got to find out what number this is. So, as always, I'll leave that out there so you guys can see that. I got to check my bat book and see what it's number 112. So I'll put the old number in the old book. Lucky number 112. And there it is, folks. That is book number 1 down. All right. Let's move on. Next request is, do you prefer DC over Marvel? When I was a kid, I much preferred Marvel. I mean, I was a Marvel zombie. That's all I bought was Marvel books. I don't even think I bought any Batman books. Swamp Thing was about it. Now, Daniel Schultz says, well, your begging worked. I sent you an email. So I'm talking about Daniel. Nice. Jim, hope you're doing good. Thank you. I am. I hope you as well. I never thought I would say this. That's a beautiful werewolf. Oh, thank you. And Angelo, how do you pronounce your last name? Is it Karanko? He's who I just did that Wolfman for, so he's happy, so I'm happy. Yeah, John Smith says it's Easter weekend, so I'll have to be careful and work around my church schedule, but well, somebody just messaged me on Facebook. Oh, see? People ordering even as we speak. That's what I like to see. Okay, so we're moving on to the next one. And the next one is, as I open up my bat book, excuse my arm. Oh boy, Mojo from the X-Men. God, can't get any better than that, can you? He also is either Mojo or Gimli from Lord of the Rings, but I was like, gonna do that, and I thought, I don't really want to draw that helmet. Plus, I haven't drawn Mojo in forever. So, as you guys look at that blank screen, I'm going to, oops, you're going to watch me type because I have to get a Mojo reference, although I think I have a action figure around here someplace, but perhaps not. I might have sold it because you know how collectible. This is my hands typing. You know, I probably should clean this keyboard. I keep washing my hands, and my keyboard's probably filthy. Okay. All right, so Mojo it is. Perhaps one of the most disgusting looking villains of all time. So if you thought the werewolf was bad, it's going to be a beauty pageant compared to this guy. I want to say Art Adams originally drew him, so can't go wrong there. Okay, that's pretty cool and disgusting. I'll use that as my reference. Okay. I'm going to come back to you guys for a second, make sure my page is lined up here. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so I can move this book around without it being all over the place for you guys to watch. Let's see, Stephen Ing says, I remember one year at San Diego, both Dave Stevens and Shane Glines got their sketchbooks delivered during the con. They were signing and numbering as they sold each one. That's very cool. I used to sit next to Dave. Very, very, very nice guy. Not really talkative. He was probably annoyed because I was very talkative. Jim Viana, how much are the sketchbooks? Is it with a sketch? And if so, can we pick the character? You can get them with a sketch or without. Without is $25. With is $45 plus $5 shipping. And yes, you pick your own character. Oh, there's Zane Zielinski just joined. He's the guy that I did that Indiana Jones for, which was a royal pain in the butt. Zane, he never asked for anything easy, that guy. Okay, let's see. mojo. Ugh. I don't even know how big's his nose. I gotta go back and look again. Okay, I got it. He's got these bug eyes because, like Clockwork Orange, his eyelids pulled back by these little clampy things. Now let's see here. I like doing these kind of characters because they got a bunch of wrinkles and lines in them, and they're not all pretty and pristine. My mom to this day still can't figure out why I draw what I draw, and I honestly, I'm not sure I know either. Does this dude have any ears? I don't think he does he? I don't think he does. So I ever get his, like, all the references is like straight on shot? No, I don't see any ears. Oh yeah, he does. Okay. They're tiny little ears. And he's just got all this metal stuff like attached to his, it's like, comes off like hair. All right, well, that's gross and disgusting enough. Let's get to the good stuff now and start inking this sucker. Okay. I'm going to go on with an 8 again, even though this is a fully loaded 8, meaning I'm going to get a really thick line out of it, which is kind of why I wanted to use it anyway. But on some of this interior line work, I don't want that thick of a line. So it's kind of has a Joker quality to him, like a really, really grotesquely out of shape and overweight Joker. I'm going to go back in with a 0.3 because that 0.8 is a little heavy for what I want for interior line work right now. So, oops, get my hat out of the way. I better go ahead and draw these clamps up here so I don't forget. There's something, like I said, you can get a little bit wilder with your line work and on a character that's really supposed to be ugly anyway. So, whereas I wouldn't, obviously put a bunch of line work on Wonder Woman, for example, like I would with this, and I'd probably use more fluid lines. So it's almost in some ways restrictive to draw pretty people, whereas when you're drawing gross, ugly monsters or creatures, I pretty much do whatever I want. No one's going to say, well, it doesn't look good. Although Looking at this guy, you might say that doesn't look good. It looks good, but it doesn't look good. Like, yeah. Daniel Schultz, I love it when you draw characters in armor. Amethyst, Wonder Woman, any chance you'll do a fantasy book at some point? I'm working on one right now. How about that? Script, anyway. The problem is I don't know who to buy it. That's the issue, guys. It's like finding an audience for something other than a superhero book is really difficult. I am a big, those of you who tuned in before know I'm a big fantasy art fan, because that's what I grew up on, being a comic reader in the 70s. I liked superheroes as much as everybody else did, but because of the early Frazetta influence I had, I really got into that stuff. Although I was never really a big Tarzan fan, because Tarzan to me was too grounded in reality. And I like escapist fantasy. I like to be taken someplace that I just can't go. And I mean, obviously, I'm not going to go venture into the jungle. But I just felt like, there wasn't like mythical beasts or anything. There was elephants and gorillas and things like that with oops, sorry. To me, I would much rather read or draw a John Carter of Mars story than I would a Tarzan story. We're all hoping we don't look like this at the end of this lockdown. I got to exercise more. Considering how much of my life I spent exercising and staying in shape, I've not been very good at it the last couple of years. Oh, creepy. I'll make his eyes looking right at us, make it even worse. See, be like the Haunted Mansion at Disney World. Those, every time you walk by those portraits, they stare at you. Their eyes follow you. Angelo says, this is so good, you could draw just the eyes and I would still buy it. That's the kind of support I need right there. Thank you, sir. Daniel says he wishes the American scene was a little broader in taste, and I agree. Or even more willing to step out of, the established pop culture icons, and give something else a chance. And granted, there's a lot of garbage out there, and I'm not going to lie. But we're always wondering. When I say we, I mean, well, fans and pros alike are always wondering, when's the shoe going to fall and comic industry is going to implode or whatever. We've been wondering that for, since the 80s. So, but if that were to happen, all you'd have really is independent publishers publishing their own thing. So if you're a comic reader, you'd have to be willing to go outside the Marvel and DC box, perhaps, to get your comic book entertainment. I really do miss the good old days when comics were 25 cents and you could just like buy 4 of them. If you didn't like it, it wasn't like you lost your shirt in the deal. All right, this dude's just like gross. But that's the whole point. Long Shot was the weirdest miniseries. I mean, I think it was Art Adams' like first real big break. I think he had done some stuff for Pacific Comics before, but I think I want to say that that Long Shot miniseries was, excuse me a second, was his first. Well, I know it was his first major job, but I don't know that it was his very first professional work. But I think it was disgusting. Look at that. And so the artwork was cool, but man, I guess Claremont wrote that. I was an adult reading that going, I'm not sure I know what's going on here. Maybe that's because I spent more time looking at the pictures than I did the actually reading the story. Chris is a good guy, though. I've worked with Chris on Excalibur and had quite an enjoyable time. But yeah, Long Shot was weird. It was really a hot character for a while and then just sort of fizzled out. I'm a big comic collector, and I remember when it first came out, it was a really hot book, and then after a while it cooled off and it was a worthless book, and then it got hot again, and I think it's kind of settled in to where it's going to be right now, but it's very, very odd. What does Daniel say? Daniel says, I feel like it almost happened for a little while in the late 80s, early 90s. The rise of Vertigo signaled a change. I wonder why it didn't happen. I don't know. Vertigo, though, wasn't really, I mean, they weren't necessarily pushing adventure stories. I mean, I want to say that guys like, I got to turn this sideways so I can do some line work here. Guys like Neil Gaiman really sort of made that. What the heck? Oh, you know what? I think I put the wrong caps on the. Yeah, I did. It's like, why is this 0.3 so thick in it? Because it's a 0.8. Yeah, so I think. I wonder if that was just Gaiman being really popular and a few other guys, as opposed to. That genre necessarily being popular. And I also think that it was a different audience, and it's still, I mean, Vertigo is a different audience. And you're going to have to, if you're going to have any success at all, you're going to have to, for the most part, you're going to have to get the superhero audience to buy your non-superhero book if it's going to be a success, I think. But then what again? Then again, what do I know? I mean, if I had the answers, I'd I'd have it all figured out. Oops, sorry. All right, I think that's gross enough, don't you? Groovy. Jim wants to know if I'm reading anything now. No, I'm reading my Justice League scripts and drawing them. I just read like 5 issues of the first 5 issues of Savage Avengers, which I thought would just be ridiculous, but it was actually pretty good. I just haven't picked up any of the other issues. Because I tend to, I really, because I'm doing like this most of the time, so I don't have the reading time that I would like to sit down and kind of catch up and find out what everybody's doing. All right, this is issue lucky number 113. So we'll go over here and number this sucker. 113, check that out, okay. Mojo Madness, there he is. All right, so I got one more. Let's see. And also, Jim, to answer your questions, I mean, I buy old comics like pre-1980, so generally I'll go back and reread those things, and I've got like tons and tons of those Marvel Essentials, so I can actually go buy my near mint copies of these expensive books and then read the black and white reprints and not damage my collectible. All right. Okay, this guy wants either Sharon Carter as an Agent Carter, but not Peggy Carter, or White Rabbit. And to be honest with you, I have no idea who White Rabbit is. I assume that's a DC character, maybe. But before I completely disregard it, I'm going to type it in here and see what. Like a Batman villain or something? I don't know. Let's see. Oh, I guess that makes sense why he wants her. It's just a face shot, though. So that, I don't know, at least she has bunny ears. That's maybe a little more entertaining than just Sharon Carter, who essentially could just be any blonde person or blonde woman. So we'll go with White Rabbit. What do we got going on here? Oh, I really enjoyed your work on Justice League Generation Lost and Wonder Woman Conan with Gale. I was totally looking forward to Garbage Man book. Thanks, Josh. So was I. I'm trying to figure some stuff out. So I've just been so busy with the current work on Justice League. I haven't really had time to kind of go out and figure out what I'm going to do with Garbage Man, but I do have some options, and so I'll be posting about that. So don't give up on it yet. There, Jim Viana, Batman villain. Yep. Okay, got it. Hey, Gail Simone just joined. Hey, Gail. We were just talking about Wonder Woman Conan. What a fun book that was. I have to say, Gail took a project that I was like, when I first heard about it, I thought, this is just going to be ridiculous. And she made it really awesome. So if you have not read it, you must read it. Okay, so I know she's. It was actually Gail is one of my all-time favorite books too. That and the working on the Herculoids was just a blast. But man, that Conan, Wonder Woman, and of course we keep hearing the rumblings about what about a Wonder Woman Red Sonja book, and I'm surprised that Dynamite hasn't done that yet with DC. I'm going to draw her face and put the mask on once I get her face drawn. Daniel Schultz says, I missed that. I assume you're talking about Conan Wonder Woman. Yes, you must check it out. It's actually it's in hardcover. I don't think they did a soft cover of it. That's how much they loved it at DC. And it's really good. I mean, it really is. It's like I said, I got to give Gail credit. She just did a terrific job on that book. All right, so we have this girl who has a rabbit mask on. Now I got to go check this out again. So I'm going to pause for a moment while I look at. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Okay, so she has, oh, I see. Goes like that. And then it's like that. What sides are part on? It depends on who draws. Somebody's drawn it with a, looks like Finch drew with the part on the left, and somebody else drew with the part. Oh, Finch drew with the right too. So he can't make up his mind. So that doesn't, that's fine. Then I can do whatever I want. And I will. There's stick out there. She looks a little too, how should we say, pleasant to be a villain. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to change that expression a little bit. All right, I think I got this girl figured out. So I'll come back to you guys and see what's what. Dynamite wants to do it, Aaron. DC was cutting back on crossovers. I gotcha. That explains it. That doesn't mean it's not impossible that it could happen, but just not at present. But I think I can speak for Gail, say that if we get a if we get a chance to do it, we will do it. Daniel Schultz said, I'd love to see you draw Red Sonja. And I did a bunch of Red Sonja covers for Dynamite. The Red Sonja Tarzan most recently, and then there's our little bunny girl. And then I did, like a long time ago, did a bunch of Red Sonja covers for Dynamite. And actually one of them was a painting. So there was like a Thulsa Doom series or something like that. I can't remember, but so they're out there. I didn't do any interiors, but did a lot of covers. I think there's a parallel comic market alongside the comic companies and direct market comic shops. We know it's growing as graphic novels from book publishers available in bookstores, school and public libraries. Interesting. Stephen Ing gives me all this information. Wow, that's some thick reading. Some publishers are doing fantasy comics from European albums. Just picked up Pierre Larry, Queen of the Black Coast. Oh, how about that? Oh, Gail says she already has the plot, so we're just an okay away, which may be a long time coming, but we're an okay away from a Wonder Woman Red Sonja book. I don't know if Walter Simonson's still here. He joined a while back, so I'll tell you when I first met Walter. I'm sure he doesn't remember this because I don't know that I identified myself. The first time we actually talked was at a Seattle con. That was like our first formal meeting, but we were in San Diego and I was in Artist Alley and I was like, struggling. I don't even, maybe I'd done some What The stuff for those of you that remember my like early 90s work, humor stuff I did for Marvel. I can't even remember, but so the con's over on Sunday and everything's shut down. And so there's some people wandering around, and people taking their stuff down and getting ready to leave and all that kind of stuff. And so this guy comes walking by. I was standing out in the aisle. I wasn't even behind my table. And this guy comes with a beard, comes walking by. He's got this dinosaur shirt on. It was really cool. And so I stopped him and I said, and as I saw it, I noticed that it was It was a Simonson dinosaur. And I stopped him and I said, wow, that's a really cool shirt. He goes, well, thank you. I drew it. And it was Walter Simonson. So that was so we talked for a little bit there. I thought that was pretty exciting. And because he might have, that would have been, well, it would have been either, it probably would have been like 1990-ish. So Thor was still fresh in my mind. And so that was pretty exciting. For a young lad who still had his hair, to meet Walter Simonson. And the fact that he would be nice enough to sit there and just, talk to I mean, he didn't know me from Adam. In fact, he didn't even know I was an artist. And it's questionable at that point if I actually was an artist. I was trying to be an artist. My hat's blocking. Okay. A lot of people always tell me, they say, oh, you draw really pretty women. And I'm like, well, thank you very much. But I owe it all to my mother, who was a slave driver when I was a kid, especially as a teenager. When you first start as an artist, you really start, realizing that there's women in the world, and you start drawing them. And of course, you've been drawing, male superheroes your entire life. So all your women look like men with eyelashes, And so my mother was very tough on me about getting my women pretty and feminine, as opposed to just looking like, guys in drag. So, and I'll tell you that when you're getting criticized, when you want, your mom or whoever to tell you how great you are, it's tough, but man, it makes a difference in the long run. If you get criticism early and you take it to heart and really try to learn from it and get better. And I also learned as I went along, I learned how to balance, especially when I got into weightlifting. Not recently, of course, but when I was much younger. And, started to appreciate female bodybuilders and how you can, make a female character attractive, but still athletic or strong, depending on the situation. But I figure if you're a superhero, especially Wonder Woman, who's an Amazon, right? I mean, she should look like she should kick butt, but she's still got to be this beautiful princess, right? So a lot of that helped me understand how to approach that character when I finally got on the book and drew her a lot. All right, let's take a look at this gal. That's White Rabbit, apparently, at least my version of her. She seems happy enough, Cal Woodman says, bless your mum, she did right by you then. Everything I hear about Simonson makes him out to be as good as his art. He really is a wonderful man. Sign this sucker. My signature's blending in right with the all the scraggly hair. Let's see if we can get this down here so it's not There we go. Okay, and that, my friends, is number 114. Oh, and this is going to the guy in France. I paid 25 bucks for shipping for this. Whew. But I appreciate it. The importance of cultivating an audience in Europe is important. Terry Dodson's done a wonderful job of that. In fact, I think in some ways he's bigger in Europe than he is in the United States. Oh, quit washing out on me. Okay, there we go. Is my white balance not on? Yeah, I've got auto white balance on. I don't know why. Maybe my contrast is too. Maybe that's. It's a little bit muddy. Yeah. I'll just leave it where it was. That's what you get. I've got enough controls. Oh, there we go. I've got enough controls just to make me dangerous. Okay, that's probably a better shot right there. All right, so let's take a quick look at the damage again I did today, and then I'll let you all be on your way. Okay, maybe this will show up a little better with the contrast. There we go. There's Mojo. Somehow I feel he's not quite as gross looking as I could have made him. I don't know. He's pretty gross looking though. And then let's take a look at this. The Benicio del Toro Wolfman. That turned out pretty good. All righty. Folks, I wish I had more to entertain you with, but I think that's going to do it for today's show. I'm going to turn this up to me if I can. Oh, that's like way too close to my face. You don't want to see me that close. Let's zoom out before I hurt somebody. Get my name in the background. AaronLopresti.com. I recommend you all visit there as often as you can. All right, so this is Aaron Live, I guess show 2, right? We did some sketchbooks. Again, if you'd like to order one of these sketchbooks, you can get one. Just the normal version here, signed and numbered, limited edition to 750, or you can get one with a sketch in it. I mean, choice is yours. But the sketch version is $45. The regular version is $25. They're both $5 shipping in the US. If you're outside the US, then you'll have to calculate that. So anyway, those are available, and I should push Justice League on you, although I don't know I don't know when it's going to be out, but I'm back on for 48, 49, and 50, and 50 is a double-sized issue, so it's just kind of like this epic alien story that I'm working on, and it's involving a lot of, I have to create an entire world and races of beings, and it's really challenging and time-consuming, a lot like Amethyst was, where I had to sort of create the entire Amethyst universe from scratch, and it was a lot of work. And so is this Justice League, and so far it's turning out really well. I finished the first issue of the story arc, and I'm 5 pages into the second, and really pleased with how it's coming out. So keep your eyes open for that when they come out. And like I had mentioned earlier, I've got a couple 3 independent projects I'm working on. I'm trying to get the Garbage Man Thing collection together and out. Won't be by me, but get someone else to publish it, since we already have all the files and stuff. So, and I'm going to try to do that with an additional. I talked about when I tried to promote the Garbage Man book as an Indiegogo project. There was like a 14-page new story in there, and I really want to do that and include it in with the with the collection of the reprinted material. So I'll try and get that going. Probably not. I probably won't even be having a conversation with someone about that till May. But I'm definitely going to be pursuing that. I haven't been able to do a Kid Carter strip for a while. I've got a penciled version, and it's the funniest one yet. It's episode 7, and it's the funniest one I think I've done yet, but I haven't been able to finish it. Again, I'm blaming Justice League. But I am working on that stuff, and that stuff will show up on my blog, and of course I will put stuff on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram when it's posted. And then I'm working on this fantasy thing, like elves and monsters and things like that. Then I'm working on the script for that right now, and I don't know what my plans are for that, other than I'd really like to do it. But like I said, you got to have enough big enough audience to actually want to buy something like that. But when I actually get the script done and actually start, doing more character designs and stuff like that, I'll throw those out there and kind of see what the reaction is from people. And probably, I'm going to try and kickstart something again here that hopefully has a little bit broader appeal and have a greater chance of succeeding. But we'll see. We'll keep doing this for the time being. And like I said, I'm going to try and do the next one on YouTube. I've got Facebook figured out, so it's really easy now to set up and do this. YouTube, I got a new program that I'm looking at, but I haven't had time to sit down and actually learn it. But I probably eventually here, maybe sooner than later, will switch these over to YouTube so more people have access to them than just Facebook people. And they're higher definition, so they're better for reviewing and actually watching live, I think. So I think that's pretty much it. I will be back for ErinCon 2, which will be the weekend, I guess Easter weekend. I'm not going to do it 4 days like I did last time, but maybe Friday, Saturday, something like that, and just for 2 days. And we'll be doing some sketches and stuff like I did last time, and offering some special deals on different products or whatever that you might find that I would have with me at WonderCon. So keep your eyes open for that. But until then, everybody stay safe, stay healthy. Don't go stir crazy, and hopefully we'll be out of confinement here before we know it. But anyway, thanks for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Peace out.